All right, so I technically didn't rewatch No Way Home, but I did rewatch, and I'll probably make another video after that too. But I rewatched Homecoming as well as Far From Home, and I'll go off of No Way Home from what I can remember. I like these movies. I love these. I actually really do like these movies. I'll say like these movies, in a sense, didn't give me like watching the Amazing Spider-Man one again. Watching the Amazing Spider-Man movies, I legitimately did tear up a bit with the kid at the end, where like the kid standing up as being a hero. I legitimately kind of teared up with that. Even like some of the Tobey Maguire ones, I did kind of feel a little bit of like yeah, when like, and mostly it was like I think Spider-Man 3 when like Spider-Man when like everything doing like all hope is lost. You know what? No, this one does have that too. I'm gonna take that, but like there's a bit where like Venom and Sandman are like holding Mary Jane hostage and stuff, and then Spider-Man they go Spider-Man. Like yeah, this does have that. I completely forgot the part where when he comes down in Far From Home where he dives down through the thing. And I'm like, yeah, like, is that? And I'm like going, Spider-Man!
Is that?
You ready for anything?
Yeah. Oh, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real!
Like, hell yeah! Like, that whole scene. You know what? No, this does have that. I actually really do love that. Here's the thing. I honestly, I'll say the Amazing Spider-Man and the MCU ones, I'm gonna kind of tie with like what's my favorite one. One, I love Andrew Garfield's portrayal, and I honestly really do love Tom Holland's portrayal. And I really do love how their love interest and how they go about their love interest, because again, the Tobey Maguire one, it at least to me watching it felt like the nice guy syndrome like movie. At least for me, because it's just like no, I'm gonna like her from afar, I'm not gonna talk to her, I'm gonna get jealous when she hangs out with other guys, and no, she has to be with me, but no, I can't be like. It annoyed the hell out of me, and it's all like that. This, I want to start talking about this part, the love interest part, because I think it is important. I like this one a lot more, and a bit with MJ and Peter in this, or if anything, it's flipped from the Raimi films, where MJ watches Peter from afar, but she does like him, but can't bring herself to say it. Peter throughout this, at least the first one, then to the second one, he kind of grows, and like he eventually the second one he does like her, and then the third one they're dating. I like that. I like the story of the MCU one as well, where especially because again, another one of my biggest issues of the Raimi films, especially Spider-Man 2. Which, again, a lot of people say they love it. I even told my brother, I'm like, I still don't like that film. Years later after rewatching it. The reason, and again, one of my biggest issues with that film was, like, Peter letting that guy get mugged. Or Peter, like, saying, like, no, I don't need to be Spider-Man. So, like, no, he just lets bad things happen. Yeah, at one point he stops a fire. Helps with the fire, but that was already too late. And, like, he already let someone die. And that's not including all the other crimes that went up and crime rising because Spider-Man wasn't around. Like in this one, first off, like, because this Peter Parker, this Spider-Man, the MCU Spider-Man, is a hero. He is a hero in like down to who he is, and I like that. And again, it's same thing with Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker, which I love. Like, even before he had the powers, he was a badass. Even before he had powers, he was a hero. He defended that kid when Flash messed with him. Like, he is a hero, and I liked that. that was cool. And this Peter is definitely that. But before we get to that, I want to go through the films. Homecoming is Peter wanting to kind of prove to his dad that he can be a hero, that he can be an Avenger. Well, his stepdad or whatever, Stark. And I like that. It's him trying to prove it's not selfish. It's not like some kind of I don't know. I guess because this is Peter after he got bit or whatever, but like it isn't like the Raimi film where again he's kind of being a little bit selfish. He's like, oh no, I'm gonna just use these powers just for this, just so I can whatever. Like no, like even Civil War sets up that he was helping people himself beforehand. I'm sure year one or freshman year, the animated show will fill in the blanks more on what actually happened, if Peter was kind of a whatever, it was a jerk or like was a little bit selfish. I don't know, but he helped. He was already helping people, and in this, because again, for what? Okay. Let me talk to Hero a bit now. Let me talk about Hero. Like in this, especially because the first movie is Peter wanting to be an Avenger, wanting to make his dad proud, or like to show his dad like he's not a kid anymore, that he can do this. And I'm gonna keep calling Tony his dad because that's kind of what it is, and I kind of love that. It is good, and again, people hate. Apparently, people hate Far From Home. I don't know why. And like he was like, oh, Iron Boy Jr. That's the closest thing he had. Or are you gonna call him Ben Jr. because of Uncle? Are you gonna call Raimi's Spider-Man Uncle Ben because of Jr.? Also, fun fact, which I found out later, which I found out on Twitter. Which oh boy, I'll bring it up in a minute. But yeah, like Peter is Tony's legacy, and I like that angle. I really do, and I really loved it. The first one is him trying to prove to his dad that he can, be an Avenger, that he can do it and try to make him proud. And eventually, having to learn that he has to not try to do that, like try to prove himself. He is that, and he has to prove to himself, not to someone else. I like that. And like it kind of shows him maturing a little bit, especially towards the next film, where obviously there's Civil War, and I didn't watch those because I wanted to stick specifically to Spider-Man. But in this one, it is a really cool comparison, because where the first film was him basically going, I don't want to, I want to do more. I want to do bigger things and stuff like that. This film, he's flipped. He's now like, I don't want to do the big things. I just want to spend time with my friends. I want to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, like she straight says. And I'm like, that's cool. Like, you do see that character development, that flip, and I like that. That's freaking badass. I just stuck that they took out that one scene where the fight in the restaurant.
Just kidding, it's bulletproof.
So I guess it's technically canon, but I don't know. But yeah, that was badass. I'm like, hell yeah, that's cool. I like that. I like that a lot. But yeah, I like how it's the flip where now he is getting the call to come do the Avenger level stuff, the bigger thing, and he's going, no, I'm okay. He's like, no, hold on. I see the green alien. Yeah, well, he's like, no, I'm okay. I'm fine. And he eventually has to get pulled into it. And honestly, you could probably make some comparisons with this, with Far From Home and Spider-Man 2. But the difference is, when shit started hitting the fan, when the the water elemental started attacking, Hydro Man started attacking, Peter immediately jumped up and he's like, yep, let's go. He's like, yep, webbing, I don't have my mask, but screw it, I'll grab this mask, I'm going to start helping people. Immediately, there was not a second thought in his mind of, should I go out there and should I try to hide my face, or should I do whatever? No, it's straight, yep, let's go. Save this building, stop this, let's do this. And he does it. He does it. And I love that. I love that a lot. That is cool. That is smart. That is badass. Again, that is him being a hero. He is a hero. Straight down to who he is. Like, yeah, he doesn't want to, yeah, he wants to take a break from being Spider-Man. But when duty calls, especially when it's right in front of him, he's gonna help no matter what. And I like that. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Like, this film does that a lot better. Also, there's the bit, because again, I talked about the big plot hole in Spider-Man 2, which is really funny because on Twitter, I someone showed that fight at one point, and I literally put how how did the first fight with Doc Ock not end with just knocked out? And someone said, oh well, Spider-Man holds back. I'm like, I didn't say kill him. I said knock him out, which is really funny because, and mind you, this is slightly possibly headcanon, slightly not. Because in this film, there's a point where Flash takes the Edith glasses, and Peter's like, give him back, Flash. And he kind of just taps him like this, and straight knocks Flash the hell out. And again, this is just a tap. A tap. Knocks him straight up, flat out. I know technically this came out, the comic in this bit came out after, but I am willing to say that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is probably more physically stronger than Tom Holland or Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. And I say this not because of the train scene, but because of the multiverse and because of in the comics. Because in the comics, basically to make the comics align with the movies a little bit more, so when readers start reading the books after watching the movies, they're like, okay, that makes sense. Same superpowers, whatever. Peter was given organic webbing. How he was given organic webbing was this, I think it's called the Other. It's like a giant interdimensional magic spider that it turns out all spider people in all the multiverse are like totems of this magical spider or whatever. Like each universe has a guardian Spider-Man or something like that. I don't know, it's weird, but I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. And basically Peter, near death, accepts this spider into him. And it's funny enough, if he doesn't accept him, Venom gets into him and it fills in that gap and makes him into poison, which is a badass kind of form. But anyways, the Other gives him spider powers when he accepts him, stuff like that. And with that, he not only gets organic webbing, he gets stronger, he's more stickier, like he can stick for every part of his body, so that. So I am honestly willing to bet that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, at least using the lore of Spider-Man, is probably stronger for the sense that he seems to have skipped over all the other bits and went straight to, yeah, he has his own organic webbing, he has being sticky on the wall and stuff like that. That, I know, technically speaking, yeah, it's, the spider lore, but then again, you also added that now there's totem multiverse, whatever the hell, so I'm willing to bet that. So, with that kind of logic in mind, if Peter Parker, at not the weakest, but, at a earlier standpoint where he's probably not as strong as, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and he's able to go like this and knock out Flash Thompson, which I'm going to go ahead and say right now, Doc Ock and Flash Thompson are probably both characters who don't really take punches in the face, who probably haven't really had any actual physical combat or durability things, probably should have gotten knocked the hell out. Doc Ock should have probably gotten knocked the hell out with even a 10% punch from Spider-Man. A Spider-Man who has possibly even stronger power than the other Spider-Man. So, yeah. But yeah, I like these side characters in this. One of the complaints I think was like, oh, all of them are joke characters. I'm like, not really. Like, yeah, there's funny moments with them, but honestly, I think that's fine. I'd rather have characters who have more human and funny moments than annoying characters, like in a lot of the Raimi films. So yeah, one thing I will say that I didn't like in the MCU ones is how they kind of threw Karen and Edith away in this trilogy. Because honestly, like, and I just say this around, like, this would be amazing, and maybe I'll make another video just talking about this bit, but like, it'd be amazing if Karen transferred over between each suit all the way till No Way Home. I would love that, because one, I loved every little scene with Peter and Karen in the first movie, in Far From Home, in Homecoming. I love that bit. Like, he was kind of like a motherly thing. I guess you kind of had that amazing, but she was kind of a motherly thing, but also kind of a friend. I liked that. Gave him advice and all that stuff. I like that a lot. And honestly, I wish that kind of would have kept going, because, like, you know, you could go to the next one and be like, okay, well, what Edith? Just have Edith be an upgraded version of Karen. Just have it to where, like, you know, it's me, but, you know, I now have the Edith protocol, or, you know, or Karen Edith, something like that. Like, you know, something like that. Keep going, and then keep it on going till the next film. Like, have it to where, like, you know, it's transferring between the two, because, like, you could have it to where Karen is that Jarvis in his head. It is someone is helping him and stuff like that. I would like that a lot. Seeing Karen, like, in the Iron Suit, like, helping him and stuff like that, mind-wise. Could have had her maybe controlling the Iron Spider suit at some points. Like, I think it would have been cool. But, and then, like, then it would have really helped, because at the very end of, spoiler, I guess, for No Way Home, go watch that. Even at the very end of No Way Home, like, you could have literally had, and this would have fit into everything, you could have literally had, at the very end of No Way Home, after, you know, the spell happens and everyone forgets who Peter Parker is, Peter goes, you know, like, he's sad, he's broken, he lost Aunt May, he lost basically his friends and everything. You could literally have him go, well, at least I still got you, Karen. And you just hear Karen, like, you know, who's been, like, kind of like onboard navigation, like almost a second mother to him and all this stuff. Like, you could have Karen go, unauthorized user, shutting down, and you just have the system just shut down and just leave Peter completely alone. Like, if you, like if you want, like, God, that would have been so badass. Like, you had had Karen helping with certain things and stuff like that. And like, at that very end, you know, Karen, like, being someone who's helping him as friends, like, it would have been so, it would have been, like, that'd be so tragic. Like, a friend that was with him throughout all three of the movies and was someone with him, too, along with Aunt May and stuff like that. Like, and just that last bit of shredded thing, just that last shredded bit of hope, like, at least I have someone, and it's like, you know, unauthorized user, Peter Parker does no longer exist, and just shuts down and never speaks again. Like, it would be so perfect. It would be so perfect, and be, you know, because, like, here's the thing. I said in when my video from Far From No Way Home, in my video for that, I did bring up, like, I kind of hated, one thing I did kind of hate was, like, you know, how it ends. Yeah, it ends depressingly, and I'm not saying, like, you know, a movie can't end depressingly, but, like, I'm just like, man, you know how much of a sting, at least for me, I think that would have been, of, like, you know, this was the last shred of hope of a friend that he had. Like, you're a computer. It's like, no, every last trace of him is gone. Every last trace of Peter Parker is gone. At least, you know, system-wise and all that shit. No one knows who Peter Parker is. So, erase him from that. And erase him from that and just take away that last friend, that last bit of hope Peter had. And then, you know, it would get, then not only that would open up to, like, okay, he can't use the Stark suit anymore. He can't use the advanced black suit anymore. So then he has to make an entirely own new suit, and, you know, maybe scrapping the red one into making his new suit that he has at the very end. Like, it would have worked so much better, but again, they're following the checklist of, like, oh, what did they not like about Far From Home? Oh, he used Tony's tech and, you know, had all this stuff and had the keys to the kingdom, so we're going to take all that away, which is stupid as all hell. Because that's the one thing, too, that because when Far From Home happened, which, again, I don't know why people hate this movie, I liked that bit. One, I liked Peter using Tony's tech and, you know, having the bit where he looks like Tony.
What?
Nothing.
Like doing like, yeah, he's Tony's son. He is his legacy. I love that. I love that a lot. To me, that's a similar setup with I love the Owl House. It's a similar setup with Ida and Luz. Like, Luz is Ida's daughter. That is her daughter. Same thing with this. Like, Peter is Tony's son. That is his son. That is his legacy. Yeah, he also has a daughter too, which is also his legacy. But Peter is his legacy. And I love that. Setting him up to become the next thing. You could have Stark Enterprise become Parker Industries, like in the comics. Like, well, you know, Parker Industries or whatever the hell, it doesn't from Stark, but you get what I mean. Parker and Stark Industries. But no, like, and because again, like, after Far From Home, I was excited because I'm like, okay, he now has full control of his spider sense, probably. He's full control of his spider sense. He now has resources at his disposal, so he can make, you know, maybe some cooler suits to do that. And also, for people saying like, well, you know, he has to make his own suit. First off, one, he made his own suit in Far From Home.
Isolate the taser webs and reconfigure and boost the voltage to a factor of 25% and give me complete manual control over detonation.
He used Tony's tech, yes, but he did make his own suit. Saying that because he used Tony's tech to make his new suit is like saying Tony didn't make his own suit because he used screwdrivers and wrenches from back in the day. Also that he used a power supply and source and technology that his dad made. The arc reactor. Because again, remember, Tony didn't invent that shit. His father did. He miniaturized it, but that tech was his father's. Beside that, sorry. Yeah, and also, again, that little fun fact I found out. The Raimi Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, didn't make his suit. It turns out, in the novel and the book, it turns out that the guy that was being pulled out on the stretcher after Bone Crusher, the first victim, I guess, of Bone Crusher in the wrestling ring, his brother made Peter his suit. Whether you consider that canon or not, I'm going to go ahead and use that as canon and say he didn't make his damn suit. Which would make sense, because why the hell would Peter, who has no sewing, who has shown no knack of sewing or making spandex or knowing how to make a suit, hell, he even draws this suit out but can't make it, so he uses what he had, his first homemade suit. But anyways, beside the point. This Pete, like, I was honestly excited for No Way Home, because I'm like, okay, cool, now he has tech, Stark tech, and all this stuff. And, like, hell, like, I even had a thought, like, because I was hoping, like, yeah, Peter takes over the Stark Industries. That'd be badass. Parker Stark Industries. Like, you could have him trying to, like, you know, try to use Tony's tech to help and all this other stuff. The stories that could have been woven and stuff like that. But again, I felt like there was a checklist. Like, immediately, okay, we need to take away the glasses. We need to have the death of Aunt May. Which, you know what? Fine. The death of Aunt May, I honestly think is okay. You know, that is a good bit. But once she said, with great power comes great responsibility, I'm just like, did you have to do that? Did you have to do, like, I'm like, yeah, I get it. But I think he kind of learned that immediately. Hell, he's a hero already. Like, he didn't need the repeated lesson. But he was told it, so I'm like, fine, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, because I was excited to see where it could go next, what he could do next. But, you know, now he's back pretty much to square one. He's broke. He has no resources. He has to do everything from scratch. Which, I'm going to say right now, I'm honestly excited for the next movie, if it is going to have Venom in it. Because there is at least a story plots that you can make with that. There are some story plots you can make with that, where you could have, Peter now not even having school for his resources, having to figure out how to make his own webbing on a budget. Maybe he works for J. Jonah again, and, pictures of Spider-Man or videos of Spider-Man at this point. I don't know how it'll work out with the whole RSC thing. But, maybe he's the Jared of this universe. I don't know. In Spider-Man, the game, Marvel Spider-Man, he's like, Jared was like the guy yeah. But, for Jonah. But, yeah, like, maybe, like, he sees, like, his, he's running out of webbing, his suit gets ripped, and he has to keep repairing it over and over again, and by the time we see it, it's kind of, like, torn up and stuff. So when he gets Venom, and he gets the black suit on, and, it's like, unlimited webbing, you have, a suit that when it gets cut, it immediately regenerates itself, and, like, it will be extremely tempting to keep it. And I'd love to see that happen. I'd love to honestly see how that plays out, to see him, like, get the suit. Like, I could see them building off from this and not having it to where it's the same as, having it where it's not the same as the Raimi films, because I don't want a repeat of the Raimi films. I really, really don't. Like, honestly, out of all these movies, the Raimi films are my least favorite. I will say, though, like, I've rewatched some clips from No Way Home after watching, like, Spider-Man 1 to The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I do feel more of a connection to the other Spider-Man again. I feel like a more connection when, like, they all swing together and whip. I'm like, yeah, awesome. I'm like, I honestly do want to rewatch that movie, because I will say, like, rewatching No Way Home, even though I was smiling the entire way, I was kind of annoyed with some bits of making Tobey Maguire Spider-Man feel like, oh, I sense your Peter is in danger. And, like, I don't know, there's just some of that. So I want to rewatch those again, because I want to see, like, can I see these characters in this thing? Because at least when they were swinging into that, I saw it, and I saw 3 Spider-Men who loved being Spider-Man, and I love that now. Instead of watching it as, rememberies for, these other people, jacking off, nostalgia, I was looking at him like, yeah, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with these guys now. I wanted to make sure I said what that was. Because I said that and then rememberies, I'm like, I might as well go all the way through. I already made the hand gesture. But anyways, yeah, these, honestly, I think these ones are tied with the Amazing Spider-Man ones. I like seeing this. I like the more family dynamic with Peter and Tony. I like seeing Peter grow, where the first film, he's, wanting that call to action, wanting that call for the big thing to come. And in the second one, he's like, no, I do want to stay as the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I don't need that call to action. I just want to relax, spend time. But when action does call, when destiny, or when he is called to fight, he comes to fight. When someone is in danger, he comes to try to, save the day. I liked that. Again, it didn't take 2 or 3 tries before Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man was like, okay, yeah. No, he immediately was like, yes. Yes. Call me in. Yeah. I'm honestly excited to see what comes next, especially if there is going to be Venom in the next one. I'm still iffy on if there is actually going to be another Tom Holland focused Spider-Man movie. And I say that specifically because every Marvel superhero has only had 3 movies. Some of them have 2 or 1 in Black Panther's case, but each hero only has 3 movies. Iron Man has 3 movies. Cap has 3 movies. Let me see, Cap, Iron Man, Thor, because now the next one's going to introduce Jane Foster as the new Thor, even though Thor's going to be in it. So that one I would say it's more probably going to be James Foster's movie than the original Thor's. Or at least, do it, whatever. Yeah, so I think the only one movies of the MCU movies that have more than 4 movies is the Avengers, and that's it. Like, yeah, Tony has appeared in those movies, but Iron Man has only had 3 movies. Again, Captain America has only had 3 movies. So if Spider-Man does have a 4th movie, it's breaking a chain. So, you know what? Cool. I would love to see more Tom Holland Spider-Man. I'd love to see Venom one. But, again, like I said in the film for No Way Home, they pretty much set up for him to disappear. And, if Sony wants to pull Spidey, they can pull him and not lose anything. Pretty much. They lose Spider-Man, yeah, but it's like, hey, you hear about that Spider guy? Yeah, I wonder what happened to him. Oh, well, keep going. But I do hope it keeps going. I hope to see the black suit. I don't know if I showed it before. Maybe it's up here. I don't know. But yeah, I love this movie a lot. It is different from all 3 of these series are different from each other. I'll probably bring another one just talking about all of them in general, but make another video about all of them in general. But this, I really like this, and the Amazing Spider-Man are kind of my, I think, top tier Spider-Man movies. I still say Spider-Verse is the best Spider-Man movie by far, but these ones are definitely top tier. These are definitely top tier movies, and I really like them. The only one in the Raimi films I say it gets any closer is Spider-Man 3, and that's about it, honestly. The other, honestly, yeah, Spider-Man 3 is the best one out of the Raimi films still. But yeah, all Spider-Man movies are good. All these Spider-Man movies, I don't say all good. These ones are really good. I like the MCU ones a lot. Well, they're my favorite. Again, I say Spider-Verse is my favorite Spider-Man movie, but these are definitely really good ones, especially live-action ones. I put these right up with the Amazing Spider-Man, which the Amazing Spider-Man I love. And the MCU ones, I'm going to say, yeah, I love too. I like the dynamic. I like the family dynamic with him and Tony, and even Happy, where Happy was like a guy who didn't want anything to do with Peter in the first movie. And in this one, he treats him more like family. He treats him like he is his uncle. And I like that. I like that a lot. Oh, villains. I totally forgot to talk about the villains. Vulture is the best MCU villain. He is. And also, and Mysterio, he's a good villain. I think he's a pretty good villain. I don't like that, his suit was really just fake. But I do like the whole thing. And I remember watching this movie when it first came out and be like, I really hope Mysterio isn't a bad guy in this. And he is. So I'm like, damn it. But still, it was pretty good. Note I want to clarify real quick. I do know that Mysterio is a villain in the comics and, all that stuff. I was more hoping that he wasn't a villain in this because I actually really liked his dynamic with Peter and all that stuff. I just wanted to make that clear. I know Mysterio in the comics and almost every iteration, he is a bad guy. That is not what I was saying. I didn't know that. I was merely saying that I was hoping he was actually a hero in this case. It's one big complaint about about the Spider-Man MCU movies that people say it always revolves around Tony. It's one, Peter is Tony's legacy. 2, yeah, they're gonna make these movies balance out from these other movies, or balance it with these movies. If you have a structure, a tower, or a river that has feeding the nation, you're gonna build around that river. Tony is a very good show of that. Hell, even I would even say a lot of Peter's villains are very street level. You say Mysterio was saying, oh yeah, this is an Avenger level threat. Really, how happens, stuff like that. Everything that happens is very what happens when all the big shit happens and what affects the street level part. Vulture is, just a blue collar guy working a job. He gets thrown out because, Tony's company says, no, we need to will this, just leave. Like I have family fees. Like, sorry, I can't help you. And so, the guy turns to a life of crime. That's how, criminals happen when society kind of just drops them and they go, well, I need to eat, so screw you. And I think that works really well with Vulture. Like, you see, like, him trying to stay street level, just trying to basically feed his family, and he anything that threatens his family, he ends it. I like that. Even, like, his redesign is so damn good. I love Vulture's redesign of this. It's so damn good. It's so badass. Mysterio, similar kind of idea, where, again, all the little people that, Tony probably never really thought too much about or whatever, stuff like that, that not caring about those stuff like that caused these guys to go like, well, I'm going to use your tech now and I'm going to rule the world. And I really do like this phase of things, like both Mysterio and Taskmaster. I really like seeing the mirror of these other heroes in these characters. Whether Taskmaster, it's, the different fighting styles, showing how the world's kind of evolved and how these characters are evolving, showing the different fighting styles of that, to Mysterio, who suit kind of looks like Iron Man, glowing, stuff like that, has the helmet come up. You have the cape of Thor. You have the magic kind of stance and hands of Doctor Strange. Again, the lights of Iron Man, and like, he's mimicking all these heroes. Even kind of his look is kind of like Tony's. Like, I like that idea of, the heroes are having an effect on the world, even on their criminals, like Mysterio, or again, like the fighting styles making even Taskmaster way more dangerous. Like, I like that. I like that a lot. But yeah, these are good films. I like these films a lot. I like them more than Raimi. Spider-Man 3 I liked a lot. The Raimi films, I'll talk more about those probably in the fourth video. But I like these movies a lot. They're really good. They're a ton of fun. I like the characters. I like everything that's going on. No Way Home, I'm probably going to make another video after rewatching that again with all these new movies now fresh in my head. But yeah, these are good movies, and I have no idea why people get mad at the idea of the family dynamic with Peter and Tony. I think that's really good, and I like that. Also, FYI, in the comics, with great power comes great responsibility is not told to Peter by Uncle Ben. That is just something that happened in the Raimi films. It did not happen pretty much anywhere else. Even in the Andrew Garfield one, they kind of subverted a little bit. Peter kind of learns it after saving that kid. So, like, yeah, I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Which videos I've done links on my Facebook and other particular videos. Hopefully enjoy this. This movie was fun. This movie was a ton of fun. These movies were a ton of fun, and watching these were a ton of fun. Probably get one more video out of these, but thanks for watching, and we will see you later.